Hi everyone, so here I am, just like I promised, to give my review of Detective Pikachu, the movie. And, guys, uh, I just have to say, my overall grade of the review, just to start things off, this movie is 100% solid as a really entertaining Pokemon movie. So just my overall general review of the movie it was great, a really fun and emotional at times, and also very funny and edgy, and just an overall very interesting, basically whodunit story with Pikachu finally getting to have a real voice in the form of Ryan Reynolds, and here just basically how the movie went down, guys. So it basically starts off, and we basically get this narration about how Rhyme City, which is where the movie takes place, how Rhyme City is basically the utopia that the Pokemon anime always talks about. In Rhyme City, people and Pokemon truly have figured out how to be one without relying on Pokemon battles and catching Pokemon, and truly Pokemon and the humans in this movie have truly finally learned, after all these years, to truly live as one united community. And then basically we cut to our sort of co-star to Pikachu, Tim, played by Justice Smith. And I'll say one thing about Tim and the other female sort of the third wheel lead character, Lucy. Guys, Tim and Lucy are just there because Pikachu needs somebody, or needs somebody to take him to point A all the way up until the final scene of the movie, which I'll call point C. Truthfully, guys, Tim and Lucy, I mean, they're okay, but Lucy especially, I feel like was just there because the Pokemon company told the producers of this movie, hey, look, you gotta throw a girl in there somehow. So basically Tim is basically a insurance agent that ever since his mom died, he has kind of given up his love of Pokemon, and it's actually his friend Jack who basically tries to convince him to catch a Cubone, but Tim is such an amateur at catching Pokemon that he doesn't even remember or know the first basic rule of catching a Pokemon, which is before you throw the Pokeball, to make the Pokemon weak first. And for that, Cubone sort of goes after Tim and it basically punches it and basically gives him a couple of shots to say, hey, look, that wasn't cool. And then we got to sort of the main story of the movie, which is that Tim's father, Harry Goodman, who was actually one of Rhyme City's best detectives, has actually gone missing because of a supposed car accident, and he's been missing ever since. And basically, Tim learned of this through Detective Harry's old lieutenant, and the lieutenant basically gives Tim the keys to its dad's old house, because after Tim's mom died, his dad kind of threw himself into detective work, and as people know, when you are a detective in real life, that's a very time-consuming job. So Tim only came back to Rhyme City initially to basically say hi to everybody, while he waits to get promoted to the next level of being an insurance agent. Basically, when Tim gets to his dad Harry's house, he basically stumbles into his room that his dad had actually made for him, in case he ever did want to come back to Rhyme City and stay with him, which he chose not to do because his dad was never there for him, or like he should have been after his mom died. And that's when he has his first encounter with everybody's favorite electric mouse. And when Tim and Piikachu meet for the first time, it's kind of like a very funny, shocking reaction. For Piikachu, it's a shock because Tim is actually the only person that has ever been able to understand him. And Tim's obviously thinking he's nuts, because obviously Pokemon, even in Rhyme City, should not be able to physically talk like a human. And then Pikachu basically says, hey, look, somehow I lost my memories, but somehow you and I have to find your dad, Harry, because the world still needs him, and regardless of what the paper says, I still think he's alive. And basically, guys, right off the bat, Tim is totally resistant to trying to track down his dad, because of his dad not being there for him after his mom died. That's actually what caused Tim to sort of stop being interested in Pokemon, because one of his goals, I think, was to actually witness a real Pokemon League championship. But because of his mom dying and the lack of Harry's involvement in his life for many years after that, that Tim sort of lost interest in Pokemon. But Pikachu says, "Hey man, I know your dad's still alive. I feel it in my jellies, and I feel it in my jellies is exactly what comes out of the Pikachu's mouth." And and that's another thing I wanted to mention real quick, guys. Pikachu is absolutely the star of the show, and I do believe that Ryan does a pretty good job of finally giving a real of being this this real first voice of Detective Pikachu, because every single, well, not every single joke that Ryan comes up with, but the in my jellies joke, which is I think kind of a more mature way of saying, I feel it in my heart and in my bones that your dad is still alive, and that the police are hiding something from us. And Tim basically says, "Oh, all right, but I'm only doing this to kind of get rid of you." And another thing I want to mention about Pikachu real quick is that he's got this insane obsession with coffee, and just basically that is one of Pikachu's most shining moments throughout the whole hour and 44 minutes of this movie. So anyway, then we go to the sort of founder of Rhyme City, Howard Clifford, and basically, guys, Rhyme City was Howard's vision of finally achieving the dream that Pokemon and humans can live together in peace and harmony without having to rely on things like catching Pokemon and Pokemon battles. But the thing is, Howard Clifford has recently come down with an illness that basically forces his son Roger Clifford to basically to basically be sort of the real leader of Rhyme City. And basically his dad Howard is just basically the nice spokesman to sort of make everybody think that Rhyme City is great. But very early on in the movie, after Pikachu finds his first school in his old hat that Harry gave him, that they end up going to this sort of club where Pikachu, again, instead of getting like a beer or something to drink, Pikachu gets coffee, and he just happens to see this Jigglypuff singing everybody asleep, as Jigglypuff would do in the original series. But then what they come across is a sort of an underground Pokemon battle where where basically, actually before that that they come across this group of ape that are actually at first just the classic what ape represented to Ash, which is basically just a real pain in the ass. But somehow all the ape sort of inhaled this like purple mist looking stuff that we find out later is called Serum R, which is to basically make all Pokemon basically go crazy and want to hurt anybody and anything that gets in their way. Now, a few minutes later, when Pikachu and Tim basically come across this underground Pokemon battle, this Charizard, who had actually been beaten by Harry and Pikachu before, the owner of that Charizard basically challenges Pikachu to a rematch, and the bad thing that for Pikachu is that because he has basically gotten a case of amnesia, that also means that Pikachu has basically forgotten how to perform all of his attacks. So basically, Pikachu still accepts the rematch because he says, I've dealt with this slum Charizard before. I can do it again, no problem. Even if I can't do any of my moves, which almost immediately it becomes very clear that Pikachu is no match for Charizard, but then the somehow Charizard comes into contact with the Serum R, and it basically makes Charizard go berserk, and basically Tim, who is basically like the fish out of water here, him and Pikachu are basically like, what the hell are we gonna do now? But somehow that they managed to get away from Charizard, and eventually the Serum R wears off. Now after that, Tim eventually goes back to his dad's old lieutenant's office to say, hey, we've been finding out all these clues, and I want to know about this Serum R stuff. And the lieutenant's basically like, Tim, you're wasting your time. Your father, Harry Goodman, is dead. And then when Tim still presses for answers, the lieutenant basically shows Tim the footage that that the police were able to capture the night of Harry's accident. But eventually, after Lucy comes in, and by the way, guys, again, Lucy is sort of just basically just basically the third wheel throughout the entirety of the movie, because basically all her sort of story is she's a reporter for CNN, which is Rhyme City's main news station, or rather she's an intern, and she's basically trying to get the big story, to try and work her way up in the news department. Actually, her real main job is she's only an intern at CNN, but on the side she's actually a Pokemon vlogger, and she basically agrees to come along to help Pikachu and Tim find out what happened to Harry, but only because this could be her big break to get into the world of reporting professionally. So eventually, Tim and Lucy and Detective Pikachu basically meet the creator of Rhyme City again, Howard Clifford, and he basically reveals to Tim and Pikachu that his father is still alive, and that courtesy of Howard not being able to do much in the world now because of his illness, he's basically developed a way for the world to come to him in the form of hologram technology. And what this hologram tech does is it basically allows Howard and anybody else to see things that the police can't see or don't want you to find out. And what it ultimately reveals is that Harry and Pikachu, or mainly Harry, did in fact survive the accident. And now, guys, I think it's time to finally maybe cut straight to the real truth of the matter, guys. The thing that caused that fateful accident, that basically made Harry Goodman go missing, is Howard Clifford had actually recaptured the legendary Pokemon Mewtwo, the self-proclaimed most powerful Pokemon in the world, and Howard and his team had been basically getting the Serum R from Mewtwo himself, and when Mewtwo finally came to that fateful night, due to his massive psychic abilities, Mewtwo was actually able to, to, to escape from Howard's underground lab in Rhyme City, and Mewtwo escaping is what caused Harry and Pikachu's accident. And real quick, but before I wrap up the review here, basically, guys, we find out that the real villain of the movie is not Roger Clifford. It's not Harry's old lieutenant. It's not even Mewtwo at all. It is actually no one other than the creator of Rhyme City, Howard Clifford, basically capturing Mewtwo so that Howard could transfer his mind into Mewtwo's body. And basically, guys, this comes to pass after Pikachu and Tim basically had their separation because Tim, Pikachu, and Lucy sort of end up in this Torterra garden because of everything they've been through trying to stay alive. Pikachu actually ends up dying for a brief moment, and then that's when Tim and Pikachu finally have their moment, and all of a sudden this group of Bulbasaur basically come and basically lead Tim and a dead Pikachu at this point to a rock where Mewtwo basically says, "Well done, Pikachu. You brought me Aries' son. For that I will heal you and give you back your powers." And it's only after Mewtwo gives Pikachu back his power that Pikachu tells Tim that no, we can't be around each other anymore because there's too much of a risk that I'm going to hurt you. And Howard basically comes up with the idea, or basically transfers his mind into Mewtwo right as Rhyme City is having its annual Pokemon parade, which is actually very similar to the real life Thanksgiving Day parade held every year by Macy's. And basically, guys, Howard has basically done this to create a new world where basically all Pokemon are basically controlled, because Howard says, with my mind and Mewtwo's strength, we can remake the world into our image. And basically, what the people of Rhyme City don't know is that Serum R is actually in all of the balloons that are in the parade, and what they ultimately end up doing is, for a very brief moment, turning all of the people that inhale this new advanced version of Serum R, they end up basically taking the form of Pokemon and ultimately bringing Howard's plan to a to a to real to per, to per, to fruition. Sorry, guys, and basically the entire world, or at least for the purposes of this climax in the movie, Rhyme City, for a very brief moment, is inhabited only by Pokemon. But it is because of Detective Pikachu basically having one last epic Pokemon battle with Howard that Tim and Lucy are basically able to basically free Mewtwo and put Howard Clifford back into his body, and basically how the movie ends, guys, and this is the biggest twist that of them all that the movie has to offer. Detective Pikachu is actually Tim Goodman's father, Harry Goodman, because he is C, guys. Harry actually technically died because of the car crash from Mewtwo escaping from Rhyme City Labs, but Mewtwo basically took pity on Harry, and Mewtwo was basically like, you've reminded me and kept my faith that not all humanity is bad. So now even I will put your mind in Pikachu, and Pikachu, your memories of this night will be gone. But when I give them back to you, return to me the son of Harry Goodman, and basically I will restore you both to normal. So that's right, guys. Mewtwo actually put the soul of Detective Harry Goodman in Pikachu, and the movie basically ends, guys, with basically Mewtwo finally giving Harry his body back, and Tim making the decision to ultimately stay with his dad in Rhyme City, and that's how the movie ends, guys. So just again, overall, guys, this was a very, very fun and entertaining movie, and I have to disagree with Chris Stockman on the fact that this movie was just okay, because there wasn't enough Pokemon battles, and to Chris's claim to that, I say yes, you're right, Chris, okay, but that was the whole point of Detective Pikachu, the movie and the game, to sort of give us a different take on Pokemon. I actually love the fact that it basically had very minimal Pokemon battles, and the fact that we were able to explore a world where there was a true sense of unity between humans and Pokemon. And personally, guys, I would absolutely love if there could be, in some way, a sequel to this. But again, guys, this movie is filled to the brim with callbacks to the original Generation 1 Pokemon the TV show. But my most favorite one is when Pikachu and Tim separate for the few minutes that they do right before the last big battle with the with our Detective Pikachu actually sings part of the classic theme song to the original Pokemon the animated series, and that it was the most I think fitting callback to Pokemon the show that they could have given. Not to mention Mewtwo again saying at the beginning of the movie his classic catchphrase. Those voices, they're outside. And third and my third and final favorite Easter egg, guys, is in our office there is actually a statue of Dialga, Palkia, and Arceus from Arceus and the Jewel of Life. So guys, in many ways, I think that this is the appropriate way to pay respect to Mewtwo for his 20th anniversary being this year. And I do believe that this is the one occasion, unlike Sonic the Hedgehog will be, where the developers behind Detective Pikachu were actually able to pull off a movie based on a video game and do it justice. So again, guys, I absolutely thought that Detective Pikachu was very, very entertaining, and I gotta say, thank you, Detective Pikachu. Thank you, Mewtwo, for showing us that for showing us again that even after 21 years, Pokemon can finally truly have a fresh and unique take on the series itself.